Space was silent, but not empty. In the cold dark between the stars, ancient powers fought for control of dying worlds. Whole civilizations had burned, leaving only drifting debris and broken signals of forgotten glory. Then one day a new signature appeared on every deep space sensor across the Orion arm. It was faint at first, like a whisper from the void. Then it grew stronger, spreading faster than anyone could react. The readings were impossible to understand. The energy pattern didn't match any known fleet. The signal carried no ID, no diplomatic request, no translation attempt. It was as if something massive was approaching in total silence. The first to see them were scouts from the Valoran Empire. Their long-range probes captured faint shapes cutting through the starlight. Sleek metallic ships glowing faintly blue, flying in perfect formation. Their engines left trails that shimmered like comets. The Valoran commander tried to send a signal of greeting. There was no reply. He tried again, adjusting frequencies, but the mysterious ships ignored him completely. Then his radar screen flickered once, and when it returned, those ships had vanished from sensors. For a few heartbeats, there was only static. Then the fleet appeared right in front of them. The alien crew stared in silence. The central ship was enormous, larger than anything they had ever seen. It looked less like a ship and more like a moving fortress. Towering structures rose from its surface, bristling with antennas and weapon mounts that glowed faintly in the dark. Smaller ships surrounded it like guardians, each one precise, symmetrical, and terrifyingly quiet. The Valoran commander gave a single order: "Prepare defensive shields." His voice shook. The crew obeyed, panic spreading. But before the shields could rise, the unknown fleet unleashed a silent wave of blue light. Every ship in the Valoran patrol turned white-hot for a single instant, then faded into ash and fragments. The entire fleet was gone in less than a minute. A single distress signal escaped into space. It lasted for only 3 seconds, but it was enough. The galaxy heard it. Within hours, the news spread across every communication hub. Rumors twisted faster than facts. Some said it was a rogue AI swarm. Others whispered it was the return of the old ones. But one word began appearing in intercepted transmissions: human. In the Galactic Council chambers, delegates shouted over each other. Some demanded immediate military response. Others insisted it was only an isolated event. The High Speaker tried to restore order, but fear had already infected the room. When the first official images arrived, a massive metal fortress surrounded by smaller ships burning through the stars, panic became real. The Council attempted contact, sending out fleets equipped with translators and peace signals. None returned. One recording, found from a damaged probe, showed a fleet of unknown ships flying in perfect silence through a debris field. There was no sound, no comms, only light reflecting from their cold hulls. Weeks passed. Systems began going dark. A trade world vanished, then another. Yet in some places, strange stories emerged, of human ships saving colonies from pirates, delivering food to starving worlds, or repairing satellites damaged by war. The galaxy grew even more confused. Were these new arrivals conquerors or saviors? Admiral Reyes of the Council's defense fleet watched the transmissions again and again. Every pattern was the same: swift attacks on military targets, no strikes on civilians, and total silence afterward. "They don't fight like us," he muttered. "They don't fight for power. They fight for purpose." No one believed him until they saw the Terran emblem for the first time. A single probe caught the side of a human ship as it passed, a metal crest with 3 circles orbiting a single star. The translation read, "United Terran Command." The words were unfamiliar, but they carried weight, a warning that echoed across every channel. These beings were not lost wanderers. They were organized. They were ready, and they were very, very dangerous. Planets began to fortify themselves. War fleets gathered at the borders of known space. Every admiral hoped the humans would choose another direction. None dared to send another message. Then one morning, an entire sector went silent. A merchant convoy stumbled upon the aftermath days later. Wreckage of 6 fleets, twisted together in orbit around a shattered moon. The battle had lasted only 22 minutes. Among the wreckage, the convoy's scanners found something else, a beacon. It repeated the same message in a deep, calm human voice. "We do not seek war, but if war seeks us, we answer." The recording spread like wildfire. Across the stars, fear turned to awe. No one knew what the humans wanted or where they came from. but everyone knew what they could do. The galaxy had seen powerful empires rise and fall, but nothing like this. Some races began calling them the Silent Storm. Others whispered their true name with trembling voices, humans. In the darkness of space, the Terran fleet continued its steady advance, engines glowing like stars, weapons humming quietly. No broadcasts, no declarations, only purpose. Behind them, systems went quiet. Ahead of them, the galaxy waited in fear. And as the first human flagship entered the heart of the galactic map, every species that had ever thought themselves invincible suddenly understood the truth. Something new had come. Something unstoppable. The humans had arrived. The galaxy did not sleep after the humans arrived. Every empire, every outpost, every colony whispered their name. Fleets went on high alert. Scientists worked without rest trying to decode human technology. But the humans said nothing. They made no speeches, sent no messages. They just moved, silent, coordinated, unstoppable. The Council of 12 gathered again, their chamber filled with fear. Admiral Reyes stood at the center, watching as holograms of destroyed fleets floated above the table. They do not attack civilians, he said. They target weapon centers, warlords, and slavers. They strike with reason, not rage. A reptilian delegate hissed. Reason! They erased 6 systems in one cycle. Kareth nodded slowly. And yet the next sector, unarmed, neutral, was untouched. This isn't chaos. This is judgment. Far from the Council's reach, the human fleet continued its advance. Inside the command ship TSS Resolution, Admiral Reyes studied the glowing map of the galaxy. His officers waited in silence. Dominion fleets regrouping near Theta Prime, one reported. Orders, sir? Reyes's expression did not change. Begin Operation Dawnfall. Hit their command ships, not the soldiers. Let them see our reach. The command was carried out instantly. Hundreds of human ships moved like one creature, their engines leaving streaks of light behind them. They jumped through hyperspace in precise waves, emerging inside enemy territory before alarms even sounded. The Dominion had ruled for centuries through fear. They enslaved weaker races, crushed rebellions, and silenced entire planets. But now fear was theirs to feel. The first strike hit a weapons planet. The surface lit up as human kinetic bombardments fell from orbit. Clean, surgical strikes. Power grids went dark. Command centers vanished. Yet the cities remained untouched. Civilians watched from rooftops as the stars burned bright, realizing someone was fighting for them. In the aftermath, humans didn't vanish like usual. They landed. Soldiers in dark armor with glowing blue visors stepped out, delivering crates of food and medicine. They said little, only nodding to the terrified aliens. We came for your masters, one soldier told a trembling child. Not for you. When the footage reached the Council, chaos broke out. Some saw hope. Others saw threat. They are rewriting the galaxy's balance, said one ambassador. No one will fear the Council anymore, they will fear them. A week later, the human fleet moved again. They struck 3 Dominion sectors in one night. The Dominion tried to retaliate but failed. Their communication lines jammed. Their ships shut down mid-battle, systems frozen by unknown code. In desperation, they tried to negotiate. A transmission was sent directly to the Resolution. The Dominion leader appeared on screen, his voice trembling. You cannot end war with more war. What do you gain from this? Reyes leaned forward, eyes like steel. Peace, the leader sneered. You destroy everything you touch. Reyes shook his head. We destroy the tools that keep others enslaved. You built your empire on fear. We will teach you what real fear feels like. The line went dead. Moments later, the Dominion home fleet ceased to exist. Throughout the galaxy, the reaction was divided. Some celebrated. Others called the humans monsters. Religious orders began preaching that humanity was divine punishment. Entire races started painting the Terran emblem on their ships as a sign of protection. But not everyone was grateful. The Vorn Syndicate, known for its weapon trade, saw its profits collapse as the humans dismantled their factories. They formed a secret alliance with a few surviving Dominion generals. Together, they planned to strike the humans directly, something no one had dared before. Their trap was simple. They sent a distress signal from an uninhabited world, faking a humanitarian crisis. Human ships, true to pattern, arrived to investigate. As soon as they entered orbit, hidden mines activated, surrounding the fleet. Explosions tore through the darkness. The ambushers cheered until they saw the humans didn't flee. Instead, every human ship turned toward the enemy. Their lights grew brighter, engines roaring like thunder across the void. Admiral Reyes gave the order. No survivors. The ambushers were erased in under 4 minutes. When the smoke cleared, the planet's crust itself cracked. The humans left a single satellite broadcasting a message in every language. Deceit brings death. Mercy brings peace. That signal reached every corner of the galaxy. After that day, no one tried to ambush them again. Back in the council chambers, the debate continued. "They must be stopped," shouted one delegate. "No one should have this much power." Admiral Kareth, watching the destruction footage, whispered softly, "Maybe they're not the ones with power. Maybe they're the ones who remember what happens when power goes too far." Outside the window, the human fleet moved deeper into unknown sectors, scanning for Dominion remnants. Their ships glowed faintly against the endless night. Their formation perfect, their silence complete. To the galaxy, they were conquerors. To the humans, they were protectors. To history, they were both. And as their next operation began, Admiral Reyes looked out at the stars and said quietly, "Let them fear us, if it keeps them from making war again." The fleet accelerated, disappearing into hyperspace. The stars rippled behind them, leaving the galaxy trembling once more. The Dominion was falling apart, but the echoes of war still drifted through the galaxy like ghosts refusing to rest. The humans had crushed their fleets, dismantled their power, and burned their symbols from the skies, but the galaxy was still afraid. Whole worlds whispered about the Terrans, their voices filled with awe and dread. For every story of salvation, there was another of merciless destruction. No one could tell which version was true. Deep inside the TSS Resolution, Admiral Reyes stood before a holographic display showing dozens of systems blinking red. His second officer, Commander Ilara Voss, watched silently. "They're breaking apart," she said. "The Dominion generals are fighting each other now. Their empire's eating itself." Reyes nodded slowly. "Desperation makes predators dangerous. We're not finished yet." He turned to the comms officer. "Send in Task Group Vega to secure the survivors on Row 12. No civilian losses." The order went out immediately. Meanwhile, across the stars, chaos took new shapes. The fall of the Dominion had left power vacuums, and new warlords were rising to fill them. Some claimed to fight in the name of freedom. Others claimed revenge against the humans. And some just wanted to survive. In the shattered remains of the Dominion capital world, a council of alien commanders met in secret. The air was thick with smoke and fear. The leader, a scarred reptilian known as Vrax, slammed his clawed hand on the table. "We cannot wait for them to come for us. We strike first. Humans bleed like any other creature." A silence followed. One of his officers shook her head. "You didn't see them, Vrax. They don't fight for territory. They fight like machines with purpose. They hit and vanish before you even react. Then we learn," he snarled, "or we die waiting." Far away, Task Group Vega arrived over Row 12. The planet had once been a Dominion supply world. Now it was half ruined, its skies filled with dust. Human dropships descended quietly through the smoke. Marines in gray armor stepped out, scanning the ruins with calm precision. They found survivors, thousands of them. Alien civilians, weak and starving, hiding in tunnels. The humans offered food and shelter. The leader of the survivors, a small insectoid female, approached one Marine and whispered, "Are you here to conquer us?" The Marine paused, then knelt. "No. We're here to make sure no one ever conquers you again." The moment was broadcast accidentally across the galactic network. Millions saw it. Some called it propaganda, others called it truth. For the first time, the galaxy began to question its own fear. Back on the Resolution, Admiral Reyes received a report from Intelligence Command. "We've intercepted Dominion transmissions. Remnants are regrouping near the rim systems. They're building something called Project Vengeance." Reyes frowned. "Show me." The hologram flickered to life, showing massive shipyards hidden inside a nebula. Gigantic hulls were under construction. Ships the size of moons built with scavenged human tech. Commander Voss whispered, "They're trying to copy us." Reyes's eyes hardened. "Then they'll learn how dangerous imitation can be. Prepare the fleet. Full stealth approach. We end this before it begins." As the humans moved toward the nebula, the Council of 12 finally received a message from the humans themselves. It was short, clear, and carried the Terran crest. "We are not here to rule. We are here to stop what you ignored. Stay out of our way and we will never aim our guns at you." The council sat in silence after reading it. Some took it as mercy. Others saw it as a threat. At the same time, deep in the nebula, the Dominion engineers worked desperately. Vrax stood before the half-finished warship known as the Oblivion Spear. "Once this fires," he growled, "the humans will burn." But he never got the chance. Without warning, the nebula exploded in light. Dozens of human stealth cruisers appeared from the void, their cannons glowing bright blue. The Dominion ships tried to respond, but systems failed before they could fire. Electromagnetic pulses ripped through their circuits. Human drones flooded the area, disabling reactors and engines. Inside the chaos, human troops boarded the Oblivion Spear, the corridors filled with the echo of boots and gunfire. Commander Voss led the assault herself, her armor scratched and smoking. She found Vrax near the control court, trying to arm the main cannon. "It doesn't have to end this way," she said. Vrax hissed. "You don't understand. If not us, someone else will rise. The galaxy cannot survive your kind." Voss fired once. The cannon went dark. "Then let the galaxy learn to survive peace." The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the nebula was quiet again. Human engineers began dismantling the massive warship piece by piece. On board the Resolution, Admiral Reyes received the final report. "All targets neutralized. Civilian casualties 0. He nodded once. "Good. Send out the usual message." Moments later, across every open frequency, the same human voice echoed again. "We do not seek war. But if war seeks us, we answer." Every race heard it. Some cheered, some hid, but none ignored it. Weeks later, an alien historian recorded his thoughts. "They came like shadows and left like storms. They rebuilt what they destroyed. They killed with reason, not with hunger. And still, we fear them, because they are what we wish we could be, strong, united, and unwilling to kneel." In the depths of space, the Terran fleet drifted through the stars. The war was almost over. But in Admiral Reyes's mind there was no victory, only silence and the memory of the worlds that burned before they arrived. He looked out at the endless dark. "Peace," he whispered to himself. "Let it last longer than the last one." Outside the viewport, the human ships moved like silver ghosts through the void, fading slowly into the light of distant stars. The galaxy watched in silence, for now the war was over. But the lesson remained. When humans came to war, the galaxy learned fear. Silence returned to the galaxy, but it was a silence made of fear. Every world that had seen the humans in battle remembered them, not as conquerors, not as invaders, but as something far colder. They came, they fought, they rebuilt, and then they disappeared without a word. To the common citizen, they were ghosts from a world that should never have existed. To leaders and generals, they were the reminder of everything they had done wrong. Months passed after the fall of the Dominion. Trade routes reopened, cities were rebuilt, and peace treaties were signed. Yet under all the calm, everyone was waiting for the next sound of engines in the void, the hum of human ships. Inside the TSS Resolution, Admiral Reyes sat alone in his quarters, the glow of distant stars shining across his face. He had seen victory before, but never peace like this. It felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. His AI companion, Arya, appeared beside him as a soft blue hologram. "Dominion resistance is gone, Admiral. Reconstruction efforts are underway in 6 sectors. You should rest." Reyes smiled faintly. "Rest comes when peace holds, Arya. Not before." She tilted her head. "You fear the silence." He looked out the window. "Silence doesn't last. Someone always fills it with ambition, greed, or hate." Far from human space, that prophecy was already coming true. In the ruins of the old Dominion capital, survivors met under the cover of night. The last remaining Dominion generals, mercenaries, and exiles gathered around a dim holographic fire. Among them was a being cloaked in shadows, a former scientist named Auric, whose hatred for humanity burned brighter than any star. "They think it's over," he said softly, his voice calm but sharp. "But we have something they don't. The humans build machines, but they cannot build loyalty." He activated a hologram showing fragments of human technology, scavenged from battlefields, rebuilt with alien ingenuity. "I can make what they made. I can turn their own tools against them. And when I'm done, the galaxy won't fear humanity. It will hate them." Meanwhile, the human fleet had begun withdrawal. Earth's colonies were finally rebuilding. Reports flooded in of alien worlds pledging allegiance to the Terran command for protection. The humans didn't demand it, those worlds came willingly. Fear and admiration often walked hand in hand. Commander Alara Voss approached Reyes during a briefing. "We've received strange signals near the old Dominion border," she said. "Encrypted patterns that don't match any known species. Could be scavengers or something else." Reyes studied the data. The signal repeated one phrase in code over and over. "Return what you took." He frowned. "Send recon units, quietly." The recon ships entered the dead sector a few days later. They expected wreckage and silence. Instead, they found movement. Massive shipyards hidden beneath the surface of a dead moon. Dozens of alien ships were under construction, each carrying human-style weapon cores. The recon commander whispered through the comm, "Sir, someone's using our designs." That report reached the resolution hours later. Reyes's expression hardened. "Auric," he muttered. "He's alive." Arya's tone turned colder. "Recommend immediate strike?" Reyes hesitated. "No, not yet. If he wants to copy us, let him. The galaxy will see what happens when they try." Back in the hidden moon base, Auric worked tirelessly. He had studied captured Terran weapons for months, trying to understand their power. But he could never make them stable. They required something beyond his reach, control. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't metal or energy. It was discipline. Still, Auric refused to stop. "If I can't match their control," he said to his engineers, "then I'll replace it with chaos." Soon after, his first creation was ready. A warship named Nemesis, built from human blueprints but powered by unstable energy cores. It was faster, stronger, and completely unpredictable. Auric's fleet prepared to strike. At the same time, the humans noticed the growing unrest. Small colonies reported mysterious raids, with victims describing attackers who looked human, but weren't. They wore Terran armor, flew Terran ships, and left the same symbol behind, the Terran crest, painted in blood. The galaxy turned again, this time not in awe, but in anger. Alien news networks screamed of betrayal. Council leaders demanded an explanation. "You brought war again," shouted one broadcast. "You promised peace, but you lied." Admiral Reyes watched the chaos unfold. "It's not us," he said quietly. "But it won't matter. They believe what they see." Commander Voss clenched her fists. "We should reveal the truth. Show them it's Auric." Reyes shook his head. "Not yet. If we tell them, it'll sound like an excuse. We need proof, hard proof." The fleet prepared for covert deployment. Special forces units were sent into the shadows to trace the fake Terran attacks. Every report led back to the same region, the old Dominion sector, the one thought to be dead. And then the impossible happened. A distress signal came from a neutral planet named Kalos Prime. It was a thriving world under Terran protection. The message was short but clear. "They came wearing your flag." By the time the humans arrived, the city was gone. The attackers had wiped it from orbit, leaving craters miles wide. Millions were dead. The planetary governor, an alien diplomat, had sent one last broadcast before dying. They said they were from Earth. They said peace was over. The galaxy erupted. Every empire that had stayed silent now armed itself again. Fleets mobilized. Old alliances reformed overnight. The phrase spread across every world like fire. The humans have turned. Inside the resolution, Reyes stood before his crew. The calm in his voice carried more weight than any shout. "They want to destroy what we built. They want to make the galaxy fear us again. We won't let them." Commander Voss stepped forward. "Sir, what's the plan?" Reyes looked out at the stars, eyes cold as the void. "We find them. We expose them, and then we remind the galaxy who we really are." The fleet engines roared to life. Blue light filled the dark once more. From the shadow of a dying world, Auric watched on a monitor as the human fleet mobilized. He smiled faintly. "Come find me, Admiral," he whispered. "Let's see if your peace can survive one more war." And somewhere, between stars that had seen too much, the ghosts of the first war stirred again. The galaxy held its breath. The humans were moving, and this time no one knew who was right or wrong. Darkness returned to the edges of the galaxy, the kind that came before storms. The peace humanity had carved with blood and sacrifice was cracking, piece by piece, under the weight of lies. Every channel in the galaxy screamed the same accusation: the humans are back to destroy. It didn't matter that the real enemy wore human faces but carried no human heart. Admiral Reyes stood before the wide viewport of the TSS Resolution, watching as countless Terran ships assembled beyond the glass. The cold blue light of their engines painted the fleet like ghosts of their former wars. He had seen this before, nations rallying out of fear, not courage. Commander Ilara Voss entered quietly. "The Council has declared us a rogue empire," she said. "They've issued a defense pact against Terran command. Half the galaxy is arming itself." Reyes didn't move. His reflection looked tired, worn by too many decisions that demanded both mercy and fire. "And the other half?" "Waiting," she replied. "Watching to see who survives," he sighed. "Then we'll give them something worth watching." Far away, Oryx's false fleet drifted through the nebula like shadows. His flagship, the Nemesis, was monstrous. Black metal wrapped in red light, a twisted reflection of human design. His voice echoed through the comms, calm and venomous. "You see, my friends," he said to his followers, "the galaxy doesn't need to be ruled by the strong. It only needs to believe that strength is dangerous. Fear is power, and who better to fear than the humans?" His ships began to move. Each one carried the stolen Terran emblem on its hull, each one ready to strike another unsuspecting world. The first attack came without warning. A colony near the Andrix Belt, a small trade outpost under Terran protection, was annihilated in minutes. The attackers broadcasted one message before vanishing into hyperspace. "We are the voice of Earth. Surrender or burn." When the footage spread, it shattered what little trust the galaxy still had left. Riots broke out on neutral worlds. Council ambassadors demanded human surrender. Old enemies found new reason to unite against the Terran name. Inside the Resolution, Reyes watched the reports flood in, one after another, each one worse than the last. "They're painting us as monsters again," he said quietly. Voss slammed her hand against the console. "Then let's show them who we really are. Give us permission to move, sir. Let us end this before Oryx burns everything we built." Reyes finally turned to her. "Find him first," he said. "If we strike blind, we'll only prove them right." The fleet scattered into stealth missions across dozens of sectors. Human intelligence networks went silent, searching through encrypted signals and ghost transmissions. Every time they got close, Oryx moved his base deeper into the shadows. He knew their tactics. He had studied them too well. But Oryx made a mistake. He underestimated humanity's patience. 2 months into the chase, a hidden signal appeared on a Terran distress frequency. It was faint, almost broken, but the code embedded inside could only have come from one place. Oryx's stolen human AI core. Admiral Reyes recognized it instantly. "He's using our old network," he said. "He thinks he can hide behind our systems. He forgot one thing. We built them." A plan formed, quiet, precise, dangerous. The Terran fleet disguised itself as a convoy of merchant vessels, broadcasting harmless signals while slipping through the edges of neutral space. The Resolution led the formation, cloaked behind layers of electronic camouflage. As they approached the dead system of Arcani 7, the signal grew stronger. Then they saw it, Oryx Fortress. It was enormous, built into the remains of a shattered moon. The stolen Terran ships orbited it like vultures, and at its center hung the Nemesis, glowing with unstable energy. Reyes stood on the command deck. "This ends here," he said. Commander Voss nodded. "Weapons ready. Drones synchronized. All squadrons on standby." "Open channel," Reyes ordered. A moment later, Oryx's face appeared on the main screen. His smile was sharp and hollow. "So the ghost finally comes to haunt me. I wondered how long it would take." "You've caused enough pain," Reyes said evenly. "You wanted the galaxy to hate us, but you've only shown them what hate creates." Oryx laughed. "You think they'll believe you after what they've seen? Every burned city, every shattered world, they believe it was you. And belief is stronger than truth." Reyes stared at him for a long moment. "Maybe, but truth still burns brighter." He gave the order. The Terran fleet revealed itself in a burst of light. Stealth fields dropped, energy signatures flared, and hundreds of ships appeared at once. The first wave of missiles tore through the fake Terran lines before they could react. Oryx forces scrambled, firing wildly. The nebula filled with streaks of blue and red light. The Nemesis retaliated, unleashing unstable plasma cannons that tore through friend and foe alike. It was chaos, violent, blinding chaos. Commander Voss guided the Resolution through debris fields, dodging explosions. "Shields at 60%, Keep firing, Reyes said, his tone steady. Target the energy cores, don't let him escape. In the heart of the battle, Oryx stood on the bridge of the Nemesis, watching his empire fall apart. They won't see me as the villain, he whispered. They'll see me as the truth of what humanity always was. Then, for the first time, the Resolution's main cannon charged, an ancient Terran weapon powered by fusion energy. A beam of pure white light cut across the void, piercing straight through the Nemesis. The explosion lit up the nebula like a newborn sun. When the light faded, only silence remained. Sensors picked up fragments of Oryx's ship drifting in the void. No life signs. No escape pods. Reyes closed his eyes. End transmission. Send everything, the battle logs, the visuals, the truth, to every galactic channel. Let them see. Hours later, every screen across the galaxy flickered on. The footage showed the real fight. The false fleet, the forged ships, the humans defending, not attacking. And for the first time since the war began, the galaxy saw humanity as they were. Not monsters, not saviors, but protectors standing against the darkness. On the bridge of the Resolution, Commander Voss looked at Reyes. It's over. Reyes shook his head softly. Wars end. Fear doesn't. But maybe, just maybe, they'll remember who fired last and who didn't. Outside, the human fleet turned toward home, engines burning steady and bright. The galaxy was quiet again, watching them fade into the distance. And as the light of their ships disappeared into the dark, one truth echoed across every world. When the humans came to war, the galaxy learned fear. But when they left, it learned something far greater. It learned respect. Months passed after the fall of Oryx's shadow fleet. The stars grew quiet again, but the galaxy was far from calm. Fear had shifted, less wild, more thoughtful. Planets once trembling under Terran power now rebuilt under their guidance. Old enemies opened communication lines, and in places where fires once burned, cities began to rise again. Yet beneath the peace, a strange question echoed among worlds. What happens when the humans leave? Admiral Reyes stood alone on the bridge of the TSS Resolution, his gaze fixed on the calm swirl of a nearby nebula. The war was over. Oryx was gone. But his words still haunted him. Belief is stronger than truth. Reyes knew it was true. Even now there were those who still doubted. Whole civilizations whispered in secret, convinced the humans had staged the entire thing to appear as saviors. Trust once broken was not easily mended. Commander Ilara Voss approached holding a datapad. Reconstruction reports are coming in. The Vorn Syndicate has surrendered. They're offering cooperation with our aid programs. Reyes gave a slow nod. Good. The fewer enemies we make, the longer this peace lasts. Voss hesitated. And the Council? They've asked for a human representative. A permanent seat at the Galactic Council, Admiral. He turned toward her, his expression unreadable. They fear us. Giving us a seat is just their way of keeping us close. Maybe, Voss said softly. But it's still a sign they've accepted we're not their enemies anymore. Reyes didn't answer. He turned back to the viewport, his reflection fading into the vastness of space. Acceptance isn't peace, Commander. It's just silence before the next storm. Far away, in a council chamber orbiting the planet Jorath Prime, alien diplomats argued over what to do with humanity's growing influence. The humans had restored stability, yes, but they had also reshaped the political landscape in their image. Order through discipline. Strength through unity. Entire governments had adopted Terran-style fleets and defense protocols. Some saw it as progress. Others saw it as quiet conquest. The meeting grew heated. They've changed the meaning of power, one delegate shouted. They bring peace, but on their terms. We are not free, we're under their shadow. Another alien, older and wiser, responded calmly. Would you rather live under the Dominion again? The room fell silent. Even fear, it seemed, could be better than extinction. Back aboard the Resolution, Reyes received a personal transmission, an encrypted message from Earth. The sender was the Terran High Council. The message was brief. Admiral, you are ordered to return home. Earth needs you. The fleet will stand down, he read it twice. The war was truly over then. A part of him felt relief. Another part felt an emptiness he couldn't describe. Humanity had spent decades preparing for battles among the stars, but now, in peace, what were they supposed to become? As the Resolution prepared for its final voyage back to Sol, hundreds of ships across the galaxy began shutting down their weapons. For the first time in living memory, the stars were quiet. But peace has a strange way of breeding new dangers. Weeks later, reports began trickling in, disappearances, missing convoys, silent colonies. At first, everyone blamed pirates. Then the pattern became clear. The missing ships were all carrying remnants of Dominion technology, old artifacts the humans had been collecting for research. Commander Voss brought the latest data to Reyes. "It's happening across multiple sectors," she said. "Someone's targeting our salvage convoys. And whoever it is, they're fast." Reyes frowned. "Could be Oryx followers. The ones who escaped." Voss hesitated. "That's the thing, sir. One of the destroyed convoys managed to send a short burst before it went offline. The attackers weren't Dominion. They weren't anyone we know." She activated a hologram showing blurry sensor footage. The ships in the image were sleek and unfamiliar, nothing like Terran or alien design. No markings. No transmissions. Just speed and silence. Reyes studied the image carefully. "New players," he muttered. They waited until the galaxy was weak. Aria, the ship's AI, chimed in softly. "Admiral. Analysis of the debris suggests energy weapons more advanced than any known galactic technology. Whoever they are, they've been watching us." The room fell quiet. The thought that another civilization had been observing all this time, waiting, was chilling. "Prepare long-range scouts," Reyes ordered. "No public broadcast. If they're out there, I want to see them before they see us." But it was too late for that. 2 weeks later, the Terran listening post on the edge of Sector 9 went dark. When the fleet arrived to investigate, they found the station split apart, cut cleanly as if sliced by light itself. No distress calls, no survivors. Only a single message burned into the station's main display. "You have awakened old ghosts." Reyes stared at the words in silence. The phrase echoed something he had heard before, from old Earth records before humanity had reached the stars. Myths of civilizations older than memory, buried beneath cosmic dust. Commander Voss whispered, "It's not Oryx, is it?" "No," Reyes said quietly. "This is something else. Something ancient." Back on Earth, Terran Command debated what to do. Some wanted to strengthen defenses. Others believed it was just leftover Dominion propaganda. Reyes knew better. The style, the precision, the intent, it wasn't random destruction. It was a warning. He looked at his reflection again in the viewport, the stars glittering like countless eyes watching him. "The galaxy feared us," he murmured. "Now it will need us again." Voss turned toward him. "Do we tell the council?" Reyes nodded slowly. "Not yet. Fear makes people reckless. Let's find out what we're dealing with first." And so, the humans stayed in the shadows once more. Their fleet spread quietly across the sectors, investigating the ruins, searching for the truth behind the message. What they found in the following weeks would change everything. A fragment of data buried in the remains of a destroyed ship. It contained coordinates to a system long thought empty, on the edge of the galactic map. Reyes stared at the data as the realization dawned. "They've been here before," he said softly. "Long before us. The humans prepared once again, not for conquest, not for vengeance, but for the unknown." The stars were whispering again, and this time, even the galaxy didn't know what was coming, and so, with engines igniting like dawn breaking over darkness, the Terran fleet set course toward the forgotten edge of the universe, because peace, as Admiral Reyes had always known, was never permanent. It was only the pause before the next chapter, and somewhere far beyond the known stars something whispered back,